My 4-year-old found a tiny door in our basement wall. I told him it was for the house elf, not expecting him to leave gifts there every night. Then one morning, the gifts were gone. Daddy, here is someone living in our wall, Max announced at breakfast, his spoon dripping milk onto the table. I didn't look up from my phone. Is that so, buddy? Yeah, I found their door yesterday. This got my attention. We'd bought the 1920s craftsman house 6 months ago after the divorce. While charming, it had its quirks, part including a miniature decorative door in the basement, about 8 inches tall, that was clearly just an architectural whimsy from the original builders. Oh, that little door. I smiled. That's for the house elf. Max's eyes widened. We have an elf like in Harry Potter? I hadn't meant to start anything. Sorry, it was just a quick explanation to satisfy a 4-year-old's curiosity, something like that. But house elves are very shy. I thought that was the end of it. It wasn't. That night, putting Max to bed, he insisted on bringing his stuffed dinosaur Rex to the basement. There, he carefully placed Rex in front of the tiny door. What are you doing, buddy? I asked. The elf might get lonely, he said with complete seriousness. Since the divorce, Max had been having trouble sleeping alone. The child psychologist had said it was normal. Parent fears of abandonment often manifest at bedtime. Maybe in his 4-year-old mind, the lonely elf needed the comfort he himself craved. The next morning, Max raced downstairs before I'd even poured my coffee. He returned looking disappointed. Rex still sitting where he'd left him. The elf didn't want Rex, he said, bottom lip quivering. Maybe the elf was sleeping, I suggested. They're nocturnal, you know. That evening, Max left a crayon drawing and one of his cookies by the door, then a Beyonce figure. Each morning, the offerings remained untouched, and Max grew more determined. Maybe the elf doesn't like my gifts, he said one night, real worry in his voice. I felt terrible for starting this whole thing. I am sure the elf appreciates them. Max, maybe it's just too shy to take them while we're in the house. 5 days into Operation Elphatal, Max had left his favorite Hotteries Carbertod red convertible he usually wouldn't even let me touch. The sacrifice broke my heart that night. Long after Max was asleep, I went down to remove the Carbertar and he'd be devastated if it disappeared. But I needed to end this fantasy before it went too far. But when I reached the basement, the tiny door was open a crack. The car was gone. I froze, my heart pounding. I checked every inch of the basement floor. Nothing. The door, which I'd always assumed was sealed, was actually hinged. I called my ex-wife. Did you come by the house today? Did you take Max's toy car from the basement? What are you talking about, James? It's midnight the next morning. Max discovered his empty offering spot and literally danced with excitement. The elf took my car. It really exists. I called our realtor who connected me with the previous owners, parent and elderly couple now living in Arizona. Oh, the elf door, Mrs. Winters chuckled when I explained. Our daughter installed that when she was 12. Here's a small space behind it that connects to the utility room. She used to leave notes for the house spirits. Probably mice took your son's toy, but that night when Max was placing a thank you note by the door, we both saw it parrot in a tiny blue marble that hadn't been there before, perfectly centered where the car had been. Now Max leaves a gift every Sunday night. By morning, it's always replaced with something small, parrot, a polished stone, an acorn cap, once a perfect tiny feather. I've checked every inch of that wall space. Here's no logical explanation I can find. But logic isn't everything, and sometimes the magic our children believe in finds a way to become real.